Formula One isn't just about speed and skill. It's about pride, mind games, and raw emotion. When two elite drivers clash, the racetrack turns into a battleground. And over the decades, F1 has given us some of the most ruthless, controversial, and unforgettable rivalries in sports history. We're diving into the most intense rivalries in Formula One history, the feuds that went beyond the podium and changed the sport forever. Ayrton Senna versus Alain Prost. The psychology of war. When people talk about the greatest rivalry in F1, one name always comes first: Senna versus Prost. Two legends, opposite in every way. Senna was fire, passionate, aggressive, spiritual. He believed he had a divine right to race and to win. Prost, cold, calculated, strategic. The professor, he studied every move, played the long game. Their rivalry began in 1988 at McLaren, where they were teammates. That season, McLaren dominated the field, winning 15 of 16 races. But it quickly became clear this wasn't going to be a happy partnership. Senna won more races, but Prost clinched the 1989 title after that infamous collision at Suzuka, where the two tangled and Prost walked away while Senna was later disqualified. In 1990, the roles reversed. Senna, now at McLaren, intentionally collided with Prost, now in a Ferrari, at the very same Suzuka circuit on the very first corner. He admitted later that it was revenge. This wasn't just racing, it was psychological warfare. Even FIA President Jean-Marie Balestre got involved, accused of favoring his fellow Frenchman Prost. Their rivalry was so intense, it threatened to fracture the sport. And yet, in the end, there was respect. When Prost retired in 1993, Senna pulled him up onto the top step of the podium. A year later, Senna was gone. Prost wept. That's the power of a true rivalry. Lewis Hamilton versus Nico Rosberg, friends to foes. They grew up together in karting, laughing, racing, dreaming of making it to F1, and they did. But when they became Mercedes teammates in 2013, things started to crack. By 2014, with Mercedes dominating, it turned ugly. Hamilton was the natural-born racer, fast, instinctive, confident. Rosberg was analytical, methodical, always trying to match Lewis's raw speed with brain power and preparation. The 2014 Bahrain Grand Prix was a warning shot, a wheel-to-wheel duel that set the tone. Then came Spa, where Rosberg clipped Hamilton's rear tire and cost him the race. Mercedes bosses were furious. By 2016, the rivalry reached boiling point. Rosberg came out swinging, winning the first 4 races. But Hamilton clawed back, and the tension was unbearable. In Spain, they crashed into each other on the first lap. In Austria, they collided again. Rosberg's front wing went flying. It all came down to Abu Dhabi. Hamilton needed Rosberg to finish off the podium to win the title. So what did he do? He deliberately slowed the race down, backing Rosberg into the chasing pack. It was ruthless. Rosberg still won the championship, and then retired just 5 days later. He'd climbed the mountain. He had nothing left to prove, and he knew if he stayed, it might just destroy them both. Sebastian Vettel versus Mark Webber, team orders and tension. At Red Bull, Vettel was the golden child, young, fast, ruthless. Webber was the experienced underdog, and for a while they coexisted. But once titles were on the line, the gloves came off. Their first major clash came in 2010 at the Turkish Grand Prix. They were running 1-2, then collided at over 190 miles per hour. Vettel retired, Webber limped to third, and the team pointed fingers. But the most infamous moment came at the 2013 Malaysian Grand Prix. The phrase multi-21 is now etched into F1 infamy. Webber was leading, and Red Bull issued team orders to hold position. Car number 2, Webber, ahead of car number 1, Vettel. But Vettel ignored it. He passed Webber in a wheel-to-wheel battle and won the race. On the podium, Webber was seething. "Yeah, multi-21, Seb. Multi-Yermi beer." Vettel later admitted he'd do it again. The trust was broken. The partnership was dead. Despite winning 4 titles, Vettel's time at Red Bull was overshadowed by his feud with Webber. A reminder that even teammates are rivals first. Niki Lauda versus James Hunt, fire and ice. They were polar opposites. Lauda was all discipline and engineering brilliance. Hunt was a wild, charismatic playboy. But in 1976, they clashed in one of F1's most iconic rivalries. That year, Lauda was dominant in his Ferrari. But then came Nürburgring. A horrific crash left him with severe burns and nearly cost him his life. Miraculously, he returned just 6 weeks later, his wounds still fresh. Hunt had made up serious ground in the standings, and the title came down to the final race in Japan. In torrential rain, Lauda withdrew after 2 laps, calling it too dangerous. Hunt went on to finish third and took the championship by just 1 point. Some called Lauda a coward, others saw it as an act of courage. Hunt never gloated. In fact, they became close friends after that season. Their rivalry was fierce, but respectful. It showed that even in a brutal sport, honor could exist. And thanks to the film Rush, a whole new generation learned just how epic their battle really was. Lewis Hamilton versus Fernando Alonso. The explosion at McLaren 2007, the rookie versus the reigning double world champion. What could possibly go wrong? Hamilton joined McLaren alongside Fernando Alonso, who had just dethroned Michael Schumacher. Many assumed Alonso would dominate, but Hamilton didn't get the memo. He matched Alonso from the start, equal points, equal pace, and zero fear. Tensions exploded in Hungary. In qualifying, Alonso held up Hamilton in the pit lane, preventing him from getting a final lap. McLaren was fined, and the relationship was shattered. Behind the scenes, Alonso reportedly threatened to leak damaging emails about the team's role in the Spygate scandal. The team imploded. At season's end, both drivers lost the title to Kimi Räikkönen by a single point. Alonso left McLaren. Hamilton stayed and went on to become a 7-time world champion. It was short-lived, but in one season, Hamilton and Alonso set a new bar for intra-team rivalries, one built on pride, paranoia, and pure, unfiltered competition. Max Verstappen versus George Russell. The new generation sparks. In the new era of F1, the torch is being passed. But even among the next generation, rivalries are already brewing, none more visible than between Max Verstappen and George Russell. Verstappen, the aggressive, no-compromise Dutchman, has already rewritten the record books. Russell, sharp, articulate, and incredibly fast, is now a central figure at Mercedes. Their paths have crossed since junior categories, and the tension carried into Formula One. Things escalated at the 2023 Azerbaijan Grand Prix sprint race. Russell made contact with Verstappen on the opening lap, damaging Max's side pod. Verstappen was furious. After the race, he confronted Russell in the pit lane, calling him a dickhead on live TV. Russell remained cool, saying, "It's called racing, Max." That moment was more than just a flashpoint, it was a signal. The new generation isn't afraid to stand their ground. And as Mercedes regain their form, we could be witnessing the birth of F1's next great rivalry. Formula One isn't just about the cars, it's about the people, the egos, the mind games, the emotion. These rivalries aren't manufactured, they're real. Born in the fire of competition and etched into the history books by every pass, every clash, and every sideways glance in the paddock. Which rivalry is your favorite? Did we miss one that deserves a spot? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more iconic F1 stories, right here on GravDrive.